The biggest problem with cold calling is that nobody picks up the phone. Like you call and nobody picks up the phone. That's especially difficult for live cold calling. Be like watching paint dry. Ryan over here has this new thing that allows you to actually have more conversations. Ryan, what is this thing? Phone picker uppers. What are you doing? What's happening? That's my eloquent segue.
Yeah. Well, so at the end of the day, I've been like many of us in sales, trying to figure out how do you get the folks on our list to have conversations with me. And over the years, I discovered that on any given list, while we think that the connect rate is around 3 to 5% when we're cold calling and nobody picks up the phone, in reality, that's not true. If you take a list and you call a list, there are people who pick up and there's people who don't. So what we do here with phone ready leads is we've created a different approach that takes an average list that maybe if you called picks up every 20, maybe 50 dials. And instead, what you'll see today, Joe will be calling and I'll have a conversation every maybe 2 to 6 dials.
Yeah. So this is really interesting. And this is not technology that I have to add, right? This is not, I don't have to add like a tech stack or anything like that. I just give you the list and it comes back, right?
No technology. Joe doesn't have to change his approach, his process. You can actually double, triple, quintuple your sales productivity without.
Is that a word? Quintuple? Is that a word?
Something like that.
Okay.
Without having to add additional people. So that's the game here.
Yeah. And so we're doing this without a net. And again, I know Colin did a nice job of, talking about this at the beginning, but this is Joe. Like Joe is doing this live cold calling session without a net. And he's able to do this for a couple of reasons. One, the guy's adventurous, but two, he's also detached, man. Like he's going to still get the bungee jump and eat whatever happens. We're going to support Joe. We know what it's like to cold call. And at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay no matter what happens. Nobody's going to remember any of these calls when we call, and life is going to go on. And it's unpredictable. You're going to be hearing both ends of the call, and we're going to let him call and get into the groove. And if something comes off the rails or it doesn't go well, we're not going to chime in. We're just going to let him be like a golfer and let him go to the next call. And we're going to see if we can get him into a flow state a little bit. So Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello?
Hey, Steve, I'm Joe calling on a recorded line. We've never actually met, but I was hoping to speak with you briefly. Do you have 2 minutes?
About what?
Yeah, I completely appreciate I called you out of the blue here. Look, the reason for my call is that my company Cognism is actually hosting an event on little known ways to lower the risk of losing deals to competitors. So I was hoping if I could ask you a couple of questions to see if this might be relevant. Would that be okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not really interested in it. Thank you.
Okay, that's no problem. But hey, just before we hang up, if I'm not asking too much, is it because you and the team don't do much prospecting, or you hate getting cold calls as much as I hate making them?
I don't make the decisions on what we do for training and or marketing and or the sales training. So you would need to talk to somebody else.
Okay, that's absolutely not a problem. It sounds like I must have come through to the wrong person then. But look, I know it's not your job to help salespeople that are lost. But would you be opposed to telling me who might be the best person to reach out to?
No.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thanks so much for your help, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, let's pause for a second there. So
Joe.
So a couple of things there, guys. You noticed 3 objections came up, and really elegantly, we were working on those 3 objections just yesterday from the flashcards, and stayed in the pocket and stayed in the groove and was calm. Joe, how did that feel for you?
It felt really good, actually. It's obviously quite new. We only went through it yesterday, but it was nice. I think 3 months ago when he said, I'm not interested, it would have stopped the conversation right there. So,
yeah. Ryan, what was your take on that?
If you guys haven't gotten these things yet, it couldn't have been more scripted. That was absolutely incredible. Just staying in the pocket, staying relaxed. You actually paused a little bit and allowed him to respond without continuing to talk, which is crucial. And you gathered some more information. One of the things that you might want to go for it. I know it's a little nerve wracking too. Can continue to ask for some contact information, but other than that, flawless. That was
That was
fantastic
really
job.
great. Yeah, and that's what I would
Fantastic
consider. I would consider that a positive. No, that's not a meeting that booked, but that's a positive conversation because, to Ryan's point, was able to get a referral, and now we can kind of leverage that referral and have maybe a warmer introduction. Because sometimes, despite this list, we could have a good message, but we're calling the wrong people. And that's going to happen, and we have to make the most of it. So great job, Joe. Let's keep going here. So much of this too, that another benefit of using Ryan's service is you can actually start to test product message fit. This is our first attempt at this message. It might be the wrong message. It's one that I wrote with the team like in a day. And so we may need some time to kind of see which one's landing. And this allows us to accelerate that. It's all about experiments. This could be the wrong message. We'll see.
Sometimes I find that if you put yourself in a tree pose, Joe, the connects happen. Woosah.
So again,
it's like
there's a couple of benefits beyond connecting and booking meetings here. The primary one is to test message fit. So if we're calling the right people, we are not getting deep into the conversation. So we're not getting a lot of people past part 2. What that means is we have to change part 2. Right? We don't have enough connects yet to be able to come to that conclusion. But the nice thing about this service that Ryan's offering is we can come to that faster before we start writing emails like this and sending them. Right. So this is our first attempt at the messaging. Once we get about 10 connects or so, or 15 connects, and we know they're the right people, but we're falling flat at part 2, we can start to make adjustments quicker. Normally that would take us maybe a month or 3 weeks to get to. We can actually start to change and alter the script to try some different things. But it's still a little early to tell.
Yeah.
Sure. Ryan, what pose did you say it was?
Oh, it's this pose.
Oh, tree pose. Tree pose. You got to get to the
Tree pose. Tree pose. Okay.
Okay. So a couple of things on that. With regards to the role play, Joe, let's role play it again, because I think we skipped one little part there, which is like, call me at a bad time. Hey, just so I don't do you a disservice and call you back at another awful time, would it be okay if I stole a second to tell you why I'm calling, give you some context so you can decide if it makes sense for me to call you back? No, I can't. I'm running. Hey, no problem. Then the 3-sentence thing, and then you get the email address. So let's actually role play that again, just to burn that in. Hey, Joe, I can't talk right now. It's a bad time.
I have a knack for calling people always at a bad time. Would it be okay if I just borrow a minute to give some context as to why I called, and you can decide whether it's worth me calling back? Lastly,
you know what? I really can't. I literally have to go into a meeting in like 2 seconds.
Okay, so sorry, my time is always horrible. If it's not too much to ask, can I send you a 3-sentence email, and will you read it and let me know if it sounds interesting?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
All right, brilliant. Thanks, Josh.
Wait, what's your email address? Is your email address josh@acme.com?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. So another great opportunity to kind of practice that one. That's another one we practiced yesterday on the call. But I also love the reaction the prospect had to your opener, and you delivered that really well. So good job on that.
I actually think that one was much more natural for you.
Yeah,
Joe.
me too.
The natural laugh, and you could tell like right away. That was fantastic.
I agree. That little laugh sells it.
Hello.
Hey, Robert, it's Joe from Cognism on a recorded line. You're probably going to hate me because this is a cold call. Would you like to hang up or roll the dice?
Go ahead.
Brilliant. Thanks. The reason for my call is that my company is actually hosting an event on little known ways to lower the risk of losing deals to competitors. So I was just hoping if I could ask you a quick couple of questions to see if it might be relevant. Would that be okay?
Yeah, you're calling me believing I am where? Yeah, but I'm probably the wrong person to do this with.
That's not a problem.
No, I mean, I'm trying to help you out here. So this is more about leads, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, your best bet is to hold on. I mean, they do
That's right.
phone calls all the time, don't they?
Okay, I completely appreciate that. And obviously, I appreciate you're not the right person, but is it okay if I just ask you a couple of questions just so that I can tailor that outreach as much as possible?
Sure.
Cool. So I obviously noticed you head up the sales side. How are your sales team currently identifying accounts that are in market for products like yours? You know, are you working heavily off an inbound model, looking at email open rates?
No,
or-
you'd really have to do that. Just shoot it into SDR.
Okay, I completely appreciate that, Robert. All right, have a great day. Got his hang up.
Did he say SDR?
Yeah, SDR. I think that's you know,
the
there's like
generic-
group
the
emails.
generic- yeah. Okay. So we have how many connects, Ryan? Like 5 or so?
Joe, well, I'll have the history. I can take
Okay.
a look at it, but
I think it's around 5,
Yeah.
6 maybe.
Yeah, and so this is really good because what we're able to do after this, after we regroup and we'll take a listen, we have some 10 more minutes is, and if we're not getting deep into these calls, which we're not really getting deep into right now, it's a really good sign to say, hey, let's see if we can't change some of the part of the script. This just allows us to accelerate that. But again, it's kind of early.
He's got 5 connects and 16 attempts.
Okay. Yeah. So again, the conventional wisdom is successful cold calls are only about booking meetings. Of course, that is important, but there's also other successful outcomes. Getting referrals, because rather know that the message isn't fitting on a cold call than spin up a sequence of 8 emails and wait 3 or 4 weeks to spin through all those emails to determine that your response rates are low. I'd rather know now after 15 or 20 connects that, hey, we are calling the right people and the message just isn't landing. Let's change the message and do this again tomorrow. It's these tiny experiments. This is real cold calling. Sometimes it takes a few iterations to dial in the message. This just allows you to accelerate that. And again, a little early to tell. Well, let's see if we can't get a few more connects. And I'm just listening to the energy too. Like how interested are people sounding in what we're saying?
Well, also, when you are getting into these connects now, Joe's getting into the flow state.
Yeah.
Get into the flow state. It's going to continue to feel a little better.
It's true. See if we can't get one more connect on for us. And we'll do some Q&A.
Well, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian, it's Joe from Cognism calling on a recorded line. Listen, Brian, you're probably going to hate me because this is a cold call. Would you like to hang up or roll the dice?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's try another one.
Just hang up straight away.
I like that. I love that opener, man. You do it really well.
Yeah, it's just your It's
I really
very,
like. Yeah,
very
good.
natural for you, Joe.
It's good. It's good. And yeah, look, you're gonna get when that you saw that the reaction that other guy had. I mean, I think it's a good open. And that's to Ryan's point. Like some openers just fit your personality better. That's why there's like 30 of them, and you kind of spin through them and you see which one feels good for you.
There's always going to be one who's going to hang up, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's more than one usually.
You're going to find the one that you're super comfortable with, but you're never
Yeah.
going to be 100%. There's no way, and that's okay, right? You can always call them back, try another one.
Just to kind of recap here. I know we didn't book any meetings. So many people may be thinking about this as well. This was not good. But again, there's a lot of ways to look at this. We learned a ton. We had 6 or 7 conversations. And if we do the analysis and say, hey, these are the right people, but we're not getting deep, let's go do this again tomorrow and change the message and see if we can't get to the third part of the call. We were only able to get to the third part of the call, not one time. We just were able to get past the second part. And this is what it is to be like a professional, right? We're seeing like, we're going to try these 4 parts and we're going to see like, how deep are we getting? And let's change the part 1, let's change the part 2, let's change the part 3 so we can actually start to analyze the call.